This will be an update on the situation. You're not missing your programming. There's the tornado watch in effect until, is it 6 p.m.? 9 p.m. In effect until 9 p.m. It includes all along Interstate 35, east and west in the metro area. And let's look at XL. We have one storm that's trying to form. It's out south of Geary near Bridgeport. It will be moving northeastward. Now, they've been going up and down. They'll gradually intensify. And as they do intensify, they most likely will become tornadic. The situation is such that conditions are quite favorable for tornadic activity and the possibility of significant tornado activity. So stay us here at News 9. We'll keep you advised. Okay. This one right here, as I mentioned, has at least golf ball size hail. Winds of 70 miles per hour. It's in the Bethany area, War Acres, moving up toward Lake Hefner, the Village, Nichols Hills, Britain. Movement on this appears to be pretty much northeast if you look at it. So good part of Oklahoma County.
Oklahoma. Hey, Mark, I got a funnel.
Okay, Mark, go ahead.
I am 1.5 miles east of Tuttle.
Okay.
I have a funnel just south of me. Funnel does not go to the ground, though.
Okay, Mark. You're a little south of Tuttle.
I am, 1.5 east of Tuttle. The funnel is approximately 1 mile due south of me, southeast.
Okay, so Mark's just a little east of Tulsa and a little bit south. He sees the funnel, and that's just a sign that this storm is continuing to intensify, and it most likely will go through a cycle of producing some funnels and eventually produce a tornado. Eric, can we see? It's very difficult to see. It's very hazy in there. Mason, can you tell us what you see?
Gary, I think I see the lowering that he's talking about, and it does not go to the ground yet, but it's looking pretty ominous from where I'm at.
Now let's go to Val. Val is on Gettner. Val, what do you have?
Well, Gary, we're 3 miles northwest of Newcastle. We're right up on Highway 37. We've got a significant lowering just about 2 or 3 miles straight west of us.
Okay.
And let me tell you, Gary, the inflow is just screaming from the southeast. Very, very strong inflow into this storm.
I'm here.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. I'm behind the wrapping rain at this time, so my visibility of the updraft is obscured by rain.
Okay. Val?
Yes.
Give me your location, what direction you're looking.
Location is 3 miles north of Newcastle, and it looks like the area of concern now is about 2 miles to my northwest.
Okay, so it's a little west of I-44. Let me go in here and find this. And just north right here, this would be southwest 149th where I'm pointing there. So the circulation will soon be going through northern Newcastle, southwest Oklahoma City. Right here is, get this lined up on there, southwest 104th right up here. There's 104th. The north-south road right there is South Meridian, this one in here. So from North Bridge Creek to Newcastle, to southwest Oklahoma City, to Moore, to Del City, as I mentioned, South Oklahoma City, Del City, Midwest City, Tinker, Draper. Tornado warning continues in effect. We have people all around this. No tornado has touched down as of yet, but it is a strong circulation. And as I mentioned, it's moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. Looks like the circulation is intensifying just a little bit on radar. So tornado warning continues. We're watching the storm. It looks like the circulation is a little bit to the south of 104th Street, a little southwest, and it's moving towards State Highway 1, moving toward I-44. There it is. It's just about, in fact, it's going up over I-44 right now. And so tornado warning, guys, you folks from southwest 104th and southwest 74th all the way down to Highway 37. Val Castor is right in this area here with the storm. So, Val, what do you have?
Well, Gary, we've got very strong inflow. As a matter of fact, Gary, hold on a second. We've got dust being lifted just a half a mile west. Dust being lifted a half a mile west.
What is your location?
Dust being lifted a half a mile west of the interstate of I-44.
Okay, going up into the circulation.
And it's north of Newcastle.
Okay.
It looked like to me it could have been a brief spin up.
Okay.
We're watching it. The dust is still being raised. It's 3 miles north, 3 miles north of Newcastle, and we think it's a tornado. There's no visible funnel with it. There's lots of dust being raised.
Now you're talking 3 miles north of downtown Newcastle?
3 miles north of, the center of town of Newcastle.
Okay, so that's right along State Highway 37.
Yeah, it's actually just north of Highway 37, just north of.
Okay.
And right on the interstate, too.
Okay. And it's right on the interstate right now. So you folks along State Highway 37, which runs east-west right there, along I-44 in southwest Oklahoma City and South Oklahoma County over to Moore. Take your immediate tornado precautions. Have a possible tornado on the ground at this particular moment. And the conditions are such that it's most likely going to produce a significant tornado. So you guys need to be prepared for this. So take your immediate tornado precautions. Southwest 104th, let's go southwest 74th down to State Highway 37. Here's the Oklahoma County, Cleveland County border. Okay, we see strong, now have strong low-level shear, what we call a low-level lock.
Matter of fact, Gary, the lowering has gotten lower.
Yeah, we think tornadoes imminent with this. It's right over I-44, and we can see this is what we call a low-level lock, which means a tornado may well occur at any moment. Okay, southwest 164th. Did we have a report over there? Did I hear him say a report of a tornado? Strong circulation. I'm missing some streets. Southwest 134th Street. Southwest 119th. Mason is over the Moore area. We'll be back to him as soon as we possibly can. He's seeing power flashes. Now that could be caused by tornado on the ground, or it may be caused by very strong straight winds causing the power flashes. So. All right, that's southeast 104th Street right here, southeast 104th. And right in here is northeast 12th and Moore. This is northeast 5th and Moore. And this is southeast 9th Street and Moore. And this is Glenwood Drive. And right up here is I-240. So this tornadic thunderstorm affecting I-44 in southwest Oklahoma County and southwest Oklahoma City. It's impacting Interstate 35 in the Moore area. And it'll soon be impacting parts of I-240 as it moves to the east-northeast at about 25 miles per hour. We have people all around this, Ranger 9's on it, and we'll check in with Rob Satkus, one of our storm trackers. Rob, where are you and what do you see?
Gary, I am at Sooner Road and southeast 149th Street. Looking to the northwest, we can see a rotating wall cloud. I've got a rope funnel now. I think, it's going to be more of a shear funnel. That's not a tornadic funnel. But we're looking to the northwest. We can see a large rotating wall cloud going over the north side of Moore right now. I cannot confirm a tornado with it.
Okay, give me your location again.
Southeast 149th Street and Sooner Road.
Okay. So once again, this thing is moving east-northeast, 25 miles per hour. Tornado warning from Del City to Moore, over to Draper Lake, to Tinker, to Midwest City. And points to the east. So the movement on this, and you can see the hook echo with this particular storm, big circulation. Probably the reason it hasn't produced a tornado yet, it most likely has not tightened up enough, like an ice skater brings her arms in and spins faster. We have storm trackers all around this storm. And we'll be looking at, there's some storms developing southwest of you folks in Stillwater. And I'm going to back off just a second. There you see strong rotation on this, another low-level lock, and that's with this cell right over. It's moving right up over Tinker now. And so it's Del City down to East Moore. It's looked like it's increasing its forward speed. It's over southeast 89th. And so we're calling, there's been a call to tornado emergency for southern and southeast portions of Oklahoma City Metro. So a tornado emergency for southern and southeastern portions of Oklahoma City. And boy, we have a report of a large tornado 5 miles south of Del City moving northeast at 35. And this is what we're talking about here. It really wrapped up. So from the Del City area down to I-240 southeast 89th, across I-40, Midwest City, Del City, far northeastern sections of, let's go to the map here, let's go to Excel. So a large tornado possibly on the ground, possibly a large tornado on the ground. This is a tornado emergency. This is for southeastern and southern Oklahoma County. Tornado emergency underway. Tornado was reported in the city of Moore, moving east at about 35, east-northeast. Well, it's moving a little more to the northeast now, so from Midwest City to Del City to southeast 89th, all the way down to Draper, over to Reno. We have reports of a large tornado moving northeast, east-northeast, about 30 miles per hour now. And so you folks take your immediate tornado precautions, and as you look at that, and of course we have Ranger 9, there's that phone right there is ringing. Got a tornado sighted South Santa Fe, 104th Street. There's a report of a large tornado with this. Now it would be in the vicinity of Southeast 89th, moving over toward Tinker. Let me get on here.
Yeah, Gary, go ahead.
Go ahead. Mason, you there?
Yeah, Gary, we're directly over Lake Draper, looking to the north there, and we're still looking for some more power flashes. When we flew over more, there was 10 to 12 pretty good-sized power flashes, and noticed that something caught on fire after that over there. But this storm has quickly moved out of the Moore area.
Yeah, Mason, for your information, it has lifted, as you probably know, a little to the northeast. So tornado warning, Midwest City, Del City, all the way down to far northeast Moore. Will it still include Draper Lake, but it looks like a little north there. Along southeast 74th, along southeast 59th, Tinker area, Tinker Air Force Base, southeast 29th Street, over to Reno Street. Continue with your tornado precautions. The reports that a large tornado has touched down in the Moore area, south of Del City also. So tornado warning continues, tornado emergency, far northern Cleveland County, southern Oklahoma County, and this is a major circulation. And let me get rid of this projection right here for you. And let me just back off a little bit. You can see the large hook echo. So this is still parts of far northern Cleveland County down here into Oklahoma County, Del City, Midwest City. Looks like the western Oklahoma County is just fine at this particular time. And we've had reports of tornadoes touching down with this particular storm, so they declared a tornado emergency, south Oklahoma City area, southern Oklahoma County, moving northeast at about 30, let's call it 30 miles per hour, 35. Now it's 30, moving right at 35 miles per hour. And I'm going to back off just a little bit and do a quick check. There's another storm developing very, very rapidly. And this one is southwest of Lindsay. You folks in the Lindsay area, stay alert. This storm most likely will become tornadic also, moving to the northeast toward Purcell. So keep in mind that storm could become tornadic also. Reports of tornadoes touching down with this storm, and this is classic. If you look at this presentation, this is a classic presentation of a tornadic thunderstorm. Hook echo, strong mesocyclone, damage, power flashes. Let's go to Rob and get it. Rob?
Gary, we're at nearly the I-240 on Sooner Road. We've got damage here. I don't know if it's tornado damage or RFD damage. We've got fences down. We've got large tree limbs down. We're stuck in traffic now. Okay, we've got, watch out for this guy here.
Okay. Tell me about your damage.
We've got car covered with debris here. Trying to see what's going on here. We're stuck. Okay, we got power poles down.
What do you need?
It's starting to look more and more like tornado damage. Yeah, we're coming into some fairly substantial damage here at I-240 and Sooner Road.
I-240 and Sooner Road. Okay, it's moving right up over there. Okay, yeah, it's moving over the Tinker Air Force Base, I-240, I-40 moving toward Reno Street. It looks like it's going to move toward Choctaw here.
I think it's one of the tornadoes that went through. Oh, boy.
What do you got?
We have got substantial damage.
Substantial? Is this structural damage?
Yeah, we've got businesses here that have been nearly leveled.
GM plants? What structures?
We've got, looks like a restaurant. There's a Popeyes and a gas station here. The entire canopy has been shredded on it over the gas pumps. There's a restaurant. I can't tell if that was a restaurant or not, but it's severely damaged. We've got power poles blocking the roads.
Okay,
it's major damage, Gary.
We have.
I'm looking off to the northeast. I can see more damage that way.
Major damage is now. Give me your specific location on the damage.
We've got gas lines spewing here.
On your location.
I-240 and Sooner Road.
I-240 and Sooner Road. Okay, we have a report now that General Motors plant has been hit by a tornado.
That is, yeah, we can see that here. It's bad damage.
So we have bad damage, General Motors plant.
Okay, I don't know if this building is completely collapsed here. I don't know if it's a bank or a restaurant. It's completely collapsed. There's people they're doing search and rescue now there.
Okay.
We're trying to get on 240 again.
Okay. We have large, violent tornado near the General Motors plant. It has struck the General Motors plant, moving northeast. So you folks along Reno Street, southeast 15th in Oklahoma County. Of course, the Tinker area, it's sweeping by there. It's moving toward northeast 10th, Choctaw, Hara, New Walla.
If you can still hear me, the GM plant has been hit hard.
GM plant's been hit hard. Okay, Rob, we appreciate your report on that. Damage being reported to a large portion of northern Cleveland County and also Oklahoma County. That storm, you folks moving north of Perry, could produce a tornado there also. Let's go to, yeah, we're on Ranger 9.
Over the GM plant.
This is the GM plant. You can see a lot of damage, GM plant. And
Yeah,
as you
there's
look
cars totally stopped on I-40 right now.
as you look at the damage, at General Motors plant, which is southeastern Oklahoma County.
My goodness.
Tornado emergency continues southeast Oklahoma County into eastern Oklahoma County. Damage most likely happening.
Look at that.
That is, and you're on the air, Mason.
Yeah, look at this, Gary. We got major damage here on I-40. I mean, we got major damage.
Yeah, we're watching your video there. Very serious damage.
I-40 is shut down. I-240 is shut down eastbound right now.
Okay, just keep talking to us on what you see there.
Pin up here in front of us. There. We've got the restaurant here at I-240, and looks like Sooner Road is just totally demolished.
Okay, as they look at your video from Ranger 9, I'm going to talk about, of course, it's passing over and passing by Tinker now. It's swept by there. Can you see any damage to the Tinker Air Force Base?
Gary, I can't. I haven't turned back around there. Look
Okay,
at that semi.
that's right.
There's a semi just torn completely open here on
Holy
Sooner
cow.
Road and I-240.
Again. Okay, as that we look at your video, we'll be reading some time arrivals on this circulation. Moving across northeast 23rd, basically right now, northeast
Looks
36th
12
right
o'clock.
now, Spencer right now, Choctaw 544, Jones 547, Hara 555, Luther 603, Wellston 619. And I'll put this, so I'll tell you folks, for listening on the radio, we're on all Citadel radio stations, we're on KISS and WKY and The Bull, and then let me miss these other radio stations if you need one. We're on 104.9 Sports Animal, 97.9 FM, 930 AM WKY, 98.9 KISS, 100.5 FM on the Cat, and 96.9 The Bull. We're broadcasting simultaneously on all these stations with radio. So I'll tell you folks that are listening on radio, I-44 back to the west is fine now, the one going south. But parts of I-240 and parts of Interstate 40 are being impacted by this tornadic activity. The tornado continues to move to the northeast, most likely still doing damage. You can see it has been a massive tornado.
Right up here.
Massive tornado. So it also along I-44 up toward Tulsa. Keep in mind that particular direction. So once again, as you look at the damage here from Ranger 9, the south part of Oklahoma County, East Wilshire 536, Choctaw 544, Jones 547, Hara 555, Luther 603 is basically in your area right now. 1735, running in at 5:30 at this particular time. So we're watching it very carefully. Yes.
A residential area here just right off of Eastern and I-240. And it appears to be the very same path that this tornado took on May 3rd.
Okay, Mason, we understand now there is damage at Tinker. We see the damage you're showing now. This is South Oklahoma County. Okay, you folks in the path of this storm, we're going to keep showing you the damage. We're going to show you the damage, but we're going to also tell you where the storms are, so listen up. Going to move along east across the East Wilshire at 536, Choctaw 544, Jones 547, Hara 555, Luther 603, Wellston 619. Movement northeast on this storm, and also will you be checking on those other storms in case we have to go to them? So a possible tornado could develop in the Lindsay area, so you stay alert down there, and also in the Perry area up toward Red Rock, and then we have this giant storm in central sections, giant mesocyclone, giant cyclonic tornadic thunderstorm. These are brick homes, top levels look like they're gone off of them. Significant tornado damage. Injuries have been reported at the General Motors plant, and we saw significant damage there. This looks like a huge tornado, but a good part of it looked like it was rain wrapped. looked like it was rain wrapped as it moved to the northeast. Widespread damage. The circulation on this storm, I'm going to zoom in real close here for you in just a second. And so we're going to continue to show you the damage, and we're going to zoom in real close so I can tell you exactly where the core of this storm is at the present time. And it's just, guys, just a little southwest of Reno Avenue, and it's the main circulation, at least the center of the circulation at this particular time, is North-South Road. There's Gear Street, and we'll get over here and take a look at this North-South Street, Songbird Lane, and let's go. Let's go to Kelly Ogle. Let's go to Kelly for damage report. Kelly.
Gary, as you mentioned, this is only about a mile off the track, that storm, maybe even less than that in 1999, and massive damage out around I-240 and Sooner out at the GM plant. The green building you saw a few moments ago was the Lincoln National Bank at I-240 and Sooner Road, practically leveled out there. Look at the debris across the countryside out there in the South Del City area. Also a Popeyes and a McDonald's restaurant in the area hit hard by this tornado. We have seen several homes down around the GM Del City area that have lost their roofs. Also, Northwest Moore is reporting heavy damage, and there was an earlier report of a fire at a shopping center on Moore around I-35 and Northeast 12th Street. So the damage reports are really starting to come in now. The biggest concern right now is injuries, and unknown on that except for the General Motors plant where there are injuries. Gary, back to you.
Tornado on the ground in the Choctaw Hera area. Tornado on the ground once again in the Choctaw area. Large tornado doing damage. Be sure, as we've been talking about, take your tornado precautions and do it now. If you're in advance of this storm, it's more power lines. It's going through the power line. There it is, going through the power lines again. This is near Choctaw. This is one of our city cams, and we're watching a good-sized tornado. This is on the same complex that produced the one that's done a great deal of damage in a good part of Oklahoma County, and points to just to the south of us. More power line flashes. We're looking at a large tornado on the ground, eastern Oklahoma County, and that particular storm moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. And we'll do a track at it so I can keep up with it myself here. It's in the Choctaw Hera area, 537. Well, it's basically in Choctaw right now. Tornado on the ground from City Cam, looking probably a little bit to the south and a little bit to the east. And tornado is still on the ground. You can see the debris flying in the air. And so a tornado continues on the ground in eastern Oklahoma County. Oh boy. Movement northeast, east-northeast at 35 as you watch the tornado. There's a lot of debris with it, you can see right now. Hera, Newalla area, you should have already taken tornado precautions. McLeod, you guys too. Meeker, 617. Chandler, 632. Probably go a little south of Chandler the way it looks. Long track tornado, major mesocyclone, tornadic thunderstorm, supercell, producing tornadoes. And I'm not sure which direction he's looking, but it looks like he may be looking a little bit to the southwest. Does anyone know what direction that camera is oriented?
I'll find out.
Find out which to. You can see the debris. It's coming right at it. And this is actually from the house of one of our engineers in Choctaw. So you guys in Choctaw, you know, if you're just now tuning in, you need to take your tornado precautions and don't try to outrun this thing. It gets rain wrapped. It's very difficult to see. Oh, well, it's in Choctaw, still on the ground in Choctaw. Apparently the power's off there now. So the tornado is still on the ground in eastern Oklahoma County in Choctaw. Take your immediate tornado precautions, and let's take a look at that tornado. There's the, appears to be the General Motors plant, South Oklahoma City. And you can see the tornado just mere moments ago in Choctaw. It is probably still on the ground in Choctaw at this time. That camera was obviously was pointed to the southwest. Near Choctaw, that camera pointed to the southwest. Tornado was moving directly toward. This is being taken from the home of one of our engineers. This is just mere moments ago, and I suspect this tornado is still on the ground. We're also, as we're telling you about that, we're seeing significant damage. Significant damage in parts of Oklahoma County and probably down into Cleveland County, Moore area. We understand the General Motors plant has been hit significantly. In fact, we've seen it, and injuries with that particular event. And this storm continuing to move northeast. You can see this. Can't believe this again. This is an incredible. Just west of Perry. Okay. This tornado is still in the Choctaw area, and I can only imagine what it's doing. That's F4 damage, maybe even some F5 damage there. This is significant. more than significant.
Look at this 18-wheeler.
Oh boy. Mason, where are you located?
Gary, we're just passing over I-40, just east of Tinker, and I'll tell you what, this is sure bringing back some memories. You can definitely see the path where this thing came through here.
Yeah, as you view that and we look at that, I'll tell you that there's still a major circulation in the Choctaw area. In the Choctaw area, I suspect the tornado is still on the ground in the Choctaw area, southeastern Oklahoma County. And let's go to Val Castor. Val?
Well, Gary, we watched the touchdown first of all in Moore, and then it moved into southern parts of Oklahoma City. Let me tell you what, there is two large fires near I-35 and North 12th Street in Moore. And there's been major damage along I-240, especially around the GM plant. And Sooner Road, GM plant, major damage there from the tornado. And it appears to me that the damage path, it probably was a third of a mile wide at that point.
Okay, Val. It looks like to us the tornado is still on the ground in the Choctaw-Hara area. So once again, Hara, it's there. Meeker you guys are under direct threat. McLeod, first of all. Hara, McLeod, Meeker. That's the primary threat of this tornadic supercell. Has produced a major, violent, long-lasting tornado, and it continues to do so. And the conditions are quite favorable as it moves on to the east of Oklahoma City for more activity. And we're going to go up here in just a moment for you folks in northern Oklahoma. And let me tell you. Take your tornado precautions. Marlin, Red Rock, Perry, it's just to your west. Go ahead, Val.
Gary, I just sorry to cut in on you, but we're on I-40 right now in Choctaw Road, and looking up, we can see it to our north. It looks like it's still on the ground.
How far? Where would you reckon it be? It still looks like in Hara.
Okay, we're at Choctaw Road on I-40, looking up to the northeast, and it looks like it's still on the ground. Okay, yeah, we're at I-40 right now, Choctaw Road. We're looking up to the northeast, several miles, at least 3 or 4 miles, hard to tell, but it appears that the tornado is still on the ground from here.
I can believe it. We have a major circulation. Hook Echo continues. The north-south road, we have it just passing Meridian. That's Indian Meridian. And Triple X Road, the east-west road, northeast 10th. So, you know, Choctaw, along Reno, over to Hara, Newalla, McLeod, you guys take your immediate tornado precautions. This thing is serious. It will kill you. So take your immediate tornado precautions. So we have violent tornado, this report here coming in 4 miles south of Hara, moving northeast at 25. That would probably fit with what Val is saying. And while we're watching the Ranger 9 and the radar, let's talk with Paul O'Leary. IMSA, go ahead, Paul.
Well, right now we're receiving several calls to the area of I-240 and Sooner, and also I-240 Sunny Lane area. Apparently we have several injuries right there. No word on the number yet, but we are going to be staging in the area of I-240 and Sooner, so we can have trucks available as they are needed.
Okay, I appreciate that, taking the time out. I know the audience appreciates it too. Thank you very much. Okay. We're watching some ground shot. Where's our ground shot from?
Near Tinker.
That's near Tinker. Tinker has suffered damage. General Motors plant has suffered damage. And if Val Castor is still with us, Val could see the tornado just minutes ago. And
I can also confirm that there is lots of damage along I-240 in that area you were talking about. At Sooner Road, there's a bank over there that we think it was a bank. It's destroyed. There's also a number of buildings.
It's Lincoln Bank.
Steel structured buildings, commercial type structures north of the interstate there that were heavily damaged.
Okay, Val, when you speak, you're going to have to shout into that thing. We're getting some other people on this somehow. But we're looking at damage, significant damage in the Tinker area, which would be Del City, Midwest City, South Oklahoma City, Moore. Let's go to Kelly. Kelly, we'll throw it to you.
All right, Gary, the bank that Val mentioned a moment ago, we understand is Lincoln National Bank out around I-240 and Sooner, just flattened, and we hope everyone got under something out there. Injuries at the General Motors plant right down the road from that on I-240. You heard Paul say they're setting up a command post out at I-240. The big fire where you heard him talking about, there's the General Motors plant. Hit hard just a little while ago, maybe a half a mile off the track of that big tornado in 1999. The City of Moore Shopping Center is the shopping center that is on fire that Val referred to a little while ago. There is heavy damage reported in northwest Moore. We're getting a crew down there. We have a crew out of General Motors, a crew out of Tinker. There's damage at Tinker. Mason, if you can hear me, you flew over Tinker. What kind of damage did you see there at Tinker?
Kelly, it's sure bringing back a lot of memories of May 3rd. Fortunately, May 3rd, this tornado turned and didn't hit Tinker, but I tell you what, the GM plant, to me, looks like a total loss.
Yeah, it took a lot of damage. Did any of the buildings at Tinker or planes out there get hit?
No, they got very lucky. What I believe to be the B-2 hangar is right in the path now. They told us that the tower evacuated. There is a lot of debris on the runway at Tinker, and I believe they had a plane coming in, and I called the controllers and told them, you know, there is a lot of debris on the runway. Don't be landing anybody out there.
So from what you've seen from the damage, it looks like it went to the south of Tinker? To maybe the south edge of the runways down there?
Kelly, it either, you know, it appears to me it used a lot of energy tearing up the GM plant, and then after that it just kind of went over the runway at Tinker and then started up again. There is homes just on the northeast side of Tinker that are totally destroyed.
Boy, there are a lot of homes over there. Some of those homes rebuilt after the 1999 tornado. We certainly hope. We saw it looked like the second story of a lot of those homes were just completely wiped off the house.
Yeah, Kelly, it's pretty ironic. We flew over the same trucking company that got hit on May 3rd, and it looks, you know, the very same. And this tornado kind of took the same path, except it didn't turn and go north here. It's still going northeast.
Right. We saw the last one took a little right to left turn, and so this one was more of looked like on a straight line. Lots of damage. General Motors plant, injuries out there as well. We don't have a count yet, and I'm sure IMSA doesn't either. They are just trying to pull their resources together out there. And we're looking at ground shots of the trees stripped bare out around Tinker Air Force Base. We saw some telephone poles down out there, but countless homes we have seen from your aerial shots, Mason, that have been damaged. Almost it looks like half of a neighborhood at times that have just been hammered.
Yeah, Kelly, I'm trying to make my way back over to Tinker right now. We tried to catch up with the tornado. It was just too rough. I just couldn't hang on to this thing long enough to get a shot of it. But so we're headed back to Tinker. I did see a lot of people in blue suits standing outside the GM plant, supposedly workers, and it looked like they were just standing there with just looking, didn't know what to do.
Mason, we want to give everyone a little bit of update on what we've got. This is an area that you must stay out of. In fact, you can't get through there.
That's right.
Many of the interstates are shut down out there.
That's right. I-40. We're seeing ground shots right here near Tinker, but the main interstates, I-40, I-35, I-240, are all shut down at this point. Mason, I know you're flying around. What are you able to see?
Well, Amy, we are working our way back to Tinker, and I am coming up on I-40 right now, and I noticed an 18-wheeler and another car were blown off the road there. They were actually upside down. The police are out here in numbers. It was almost like they've been watching, you know, and they knew what was going to happen. And I see many police cars around in these neighborhoods.
Yeah, right. Mason, let's a quick update for viewers at home. Gary is still tracking strong storms right now. We're going to go back to him in just a moment. What we've had here in the metro area is a strong, powerful tornado that tracked through Moore, South Oklahoma City, down through Del City, not far off the 1999 track, did a lot of damage, heavily damaged the General Motors plant with injuries out there, many homes destroyed. We're going to go back to Gary in just a few moments. Val Castor, they're still on storms out there right now. And boy, I'll tell you, it's just been an unbelievable day as we watch this unfold again in almost the same part of town.
Not to mention the Choctaw area. We saw that tornado live on our station as that tornado ripped through from our Choctaw camp. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of damage is there. We saw debris flying up in the air from that tornado.
There's it now. Mason, that's a live look we've got from you. Where are you right now? What are we looking at there?
Yeah, Kelly, we're just about a mile northeast of Tinker. And unfortunately, my brother has a home around here, and I haven't located it yet, but we're showing you some major damage just on the east-northeast of Tinker.
Mason, if you can, situate yourself over one of those neighborhoods there that we saw just a few moments ago with all the homes heavily damaged. And while you do that, we're going to go back to Gary and get an update on what's happening with the storms. Gary?
Okay, thanks, Kelly. We'll do a quick radar update. This storm is still tornadic, still has most likely a tornado on the ground. and it's moving northeast. It's in the Hera area, eastern Choctaw, so it's parts of Choctaw, just east of Jones at the present time. Most likely still has a tornado with it. Time of arrival, Chandler 6:37, Sparks 6:37, Davenport 6:50. Now you folks in McLeod, one of the circulations is just north of you, so you folks in Meeker, it'll be there in about 15 minutes. So Meeker's in a threat, Hera, McLeod, Sparks, and Chandler. Quick check on the storm up here, which could produce a tornado just north of Perry. So you folks north of Perry, stay alert to the possibility of tornadic activity up there. Major tornado, major damage. Let's go back to the desk, Kelly.
Gary, the good thing is we're looking at your radar now. Let's take a look at some of the damage that we are getting from Ranger 9 and the Eagle Vision. I'll tell you what, it's just devastating. It looks like it did 3 years ago, quite frankly. There's the General Motors plant, and that is the largest facility that was heavily damaged by this tornado. But folks, there are a lot of homes in the Del City area that have almost been wiped off their foundations again. Now, the positive thing that might come out of this is there was a lot of lead time on this. These storms, Gary and the team have been tracking these storms all the way from way back in south and west of the Chickasha area and out in there, and Val has been tracking them as well. If we can pull up this live shot right now from Ranger 9 and Eagle Vision, can we do that real quickly? Let's look at the damage from these homes. Look at that. Mason, where is that?
Hey,
Mason,
yeah, guys.
tell us where you are.
We are right here is just about a half a mile east of Tinker in a neighborhood that we are looking at. We're making our way back to the GM plant. I'm trying to help the controllers out with stuff on the runway at Tinker real quick. So anyway, we'll get back to you. We're going to have to go get some fuel too here shortly.
All right, Mason, we'll just stay with you there as long as we can, and we know that you have to talk to the tower, but look at the trail, look at the track of this tornado, and homes that were in the way just leveled.
Unbelievable.
Recall, after watching the 1999 tornado and following that track, it tracked basically in this area, then began to turn to the left up through the Del City, more the heart of the Del City area, and into South Midwest City, and then jumped over into the Choctaw area. But this one just angled from Moore over toward Choctaw, and then our Choctaw City cam had it live until it got hit by lightning.
That's right. As our storm trackers made their way through here around I-240 and Sooner, one of the hardest hit areas, I believe it was Rob was saying that, we saw power poles down. He said that gas lines were spewing, and then again leveled structures. So, and you can see from there.
Tinker Air Force Base we're looking at there, and you can see it doesn't appear to be damaged. We're on the east side of it. Now we're on the southeast side of it, looking back toward the facility. This thing must have just grazed across the south side of Tinker, but it certainly didn't graze across General Motors. We have injuries out there, and a moment ago Paul O'Leary told us that IMSA is setting up a command post out around I-240 and Sooner Road. We saw the Lincoln National Bank out there, beautiful, fairly new building with a green metal roof on it that just appeared to have totally collapsed.
Okay, this tornado warning continues. We have a tornado reported now on the ground. Another one near Midway in southwest Lincoln County, moving northeast at 30. It's going to be this storm right here, moving towards you folks in Meeker. And let me just bring this down and update this track edit just a little bit. New tornado warning on this storm right here. So Meeker 619, Chandler 634, Sparks 635, and Davenport 647. Tornado on the ground west of Meeker, moving northeast, and we're going to check also another tornado warning, a new one on the storm just north of Perry, and that one is moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. It's just north of Perry. Most likely we'll put a tornado down very shortly in northern Oklahoma. So Red Rock, Marlin, Morrison, take your immediate tornado precautions. You folks in Perry, watch it also. Back in central Oklahoma, tornado continues on the ground just west of Meeker, moving northeast toward Meeker and Sparks. Take your immediate tornado precautions. And once again, I will say what you need to do is, if you don't have a cellar, basement, or safe room, you go to the lowest level of your house, smallest room, center part. Get a closet or bathroom, put a helmet on the kid, put long sleeve shirts, long pants, shoes, and take your safety precautions. And by the way, we're broadcasting on all Citadel radio stations, so you can pick us up there too in case your power goes out. Back to you guys.
Gary, we can tell a lot about the storm's track by where the power outages are on the OG&E site, and can tell you right now that there are almost 6,000 outages reported in South Oklahoma City. But interestingly, almost 3,200 customers without power in Choctaw, and that is a much smaller, lightly populated area down there. And so you've got that many outages out there. That tornado that we saw from our city cam out there took out a lot of power poles and perhaps a lot of homes. Big fire. Mason, where's this?
This looks like a trucking plant that supplies transportation for the cars coming out of the GM plant.
This on the east side of the west side of the plant?
This is on the west side of the plant. I see Metaflight flying around here. There must be some injured people. I tell you what, I-40 is completely closed right now.
Yeah, I-40. Is there any traffic moving through on 240?
240 is moving very slowly. A lot of people are stopping where there's a lot of debris and stuff on the road, but I can tell you right now, I-240, do not take I-240 right now, folks, because it is totally closed.
I-35 and more also, we understand, because of damage down in the northwest Moore area.
Yeah, we're looking at the highway here. As you can see, there is nobody on it. And as we, Metaflight has now landed here at off of, I believe, Sooner or Sunny
Mason,
Sooner Road and I-240.
Can you push into that green building there?
Yes.
This is I-240 and Sooner Road, correct?
Yes, sir. This is I-240 and Sooner Road, and this is where Metaflight has just landed. There is a lot of fire trucks and police officers here.
Okay, our understanding is that is the Lincoln National Bank at the corner of I-240 and Sooner Road out there.
Yeah, Kelly, I'm sorry. I'm monitoring 2 or 3 radios at a time here, and I'm trying to get some words in. But evidently there were people inside this bank and were blown out onto the road maybe. And they are trying to get some people to the hospital.
It's hard to imagine. This is almost the exact same spot. It's just incredible to look at.
It is. It's it's like a deja vu. I'm just lost for words here. This bank, and it is totally destroyed.
Yeah. Mason, this we're not exactly sure at this point how far back to the south and to the west the damage stretches, but obviously back into Moore, and then angles all the way out to the General Motors plant and many, many homes. Mason, the homes that you were showing us there are north of General Motors and east of Tinker. Am I correct just a few moments ago? North of General Motors and east of Tinker?
Yeah, the homes we were showing are just east and northeast of Tinker, about a half a mile to a mile.
Okay.
There's a quite a nice addition over there, and it is totally destroyed.
Wow.
As you look at the pictures here, Metaflight has landed here. Evidently somebody critically injured that they're going to get them to the hospital.
Have you seen a lot of MC units, Midwest City ambulance down there?
I've seen a lot of total chaos is what I've seen.
Yeah.
There is ambulances, fire trucks, more policemen out here than I've seen. Then really we saw on May 3rd. I don't know if they heed to the warning that they knew that this thing was coming, but there are policemen everywhere around here.
Well, we don't have word yet from IMSA, and it will be some time before we get real injury numbers coming in. But folks, there are injuries, and I fear worse than that, because we have many, many homes that have been leveled. Although there was a lot of lead time on this storm, sometimes it's all you can do just to get under something, and it's not enough.
Yes.
About 15, 20 minutes ago, our city cam out in Choctaw tracked this same tornado. Incredible video. We're going to take a look at it in just a moment.
And there on the left is where the storms are tracking at this point. Note where you live and what times are listed as far as when it will be in your area. Gary's keeping a close eye on that.
I'll tell you, a real concern in a situation like this is gas leaks. You've got meters that are down, you've got pipes that are broken off in houses, ONG, OG&E, all these crews, power lines down out there as well. There are a lot of hazards in an area like this after a tornado, so stay out of there because there are dangers everywhere on the ground out there.
Looks like smoke billowing there.
That may be that fire we saw. Mason, is that the fire that we saw a little while ago from the trucking plant out by GM?
Yeah, Kelly, this is the same fire. It's becoming much bigger. Those are 18-wheelers on fire. That's
car haulers.
Those are trucks on fire right there.
Yeah.
And if we can pan to the right here, there's, you know, Kelly, just like May 3rd, I can't even tell what these businesses are.
Well, yeah.
Firemen are going from place to place. They're helping people, you know, as much as they can, but they are doing what they can, and they're loading up and going to the next one.
Oh, that was a truck stop, it appears, because you can certainly see the semis there wedged underneath all the debris. And
Yeah.
no, there are a couple of truck stops out there with restaurants in them.
I don't believe this is a truck stop. This looks like a warehouse or delivery for this company. As you can see, if we pan to the right just a little bit more, there is an 18-wheeler trailer, as you can see right there, that's laying on its side. And you know, nothing out here looks the way it did, you know, an hour ago.
Right.
If we can go ahead and take a look at the storm system that moved on towards Choctaw, this same storm system here. This is video of the tornado that we caught live from our Choctaw City Cam. This was just a little bit ago, probably about 20 minutes ago, I'd estimate.
And we watched this thing for about 2 or 3 minutes, just really kicking up the debris out there. And some 3,500 Choctaw electric customers now without power. That's a lot of people in a town like Choctaw. And so there are a lot of power lines down out there. And we fear that there might be a lot of damage out there too. We need to get back to Gary right now to get an update on what's happening with the storms currently. Gary?
Kelly, this storm to the just east of Oklahoma City, it continues on the ground. It's near Jacktown in just southwestern sections of Lincoln County. Let's go to XL and we'll check it out. It's moving toward you folks in Meeker and Sparks. There's a lot of people live out in this area here, and it is on the ground. This storm, you know, is capable of blowing your entire house away and more. So Sparks, Meeker area, and you can see Meeker 619, Chandler, I believe it's going to stay your south, Sparks 635, Davenport 647, Arlington 648, and we do a quick check on the storm to the north, which is a tornado warning north of Perry, Red Rock to Marlin. So guys, that's the status now on the storms. Back to you.
Right, Gary, we're going to continue to look at and monitor some of the damage that is coming from the North Moore area, Northwest Moore through southeast Oklahoma City. Let me rephrase that. Northeast Moore through southeast Oklahoma City into the Del City area out around the General Motors plant, heavily hit. Several housing additions out there just leveled, and then on into Choctaw.
That's right. We are trying to get a hold of Ed Jones. He's with the Oklahoma City Street Department, and he is actually requesting that all employees, Oklahoma City employees, to report back to work. We're actually trying to get him by phone at this point. He's going to let us know what streets in Oklahoma City, and it's in particular that South Oklahoma City area, what streets are closed. So we're working on that. Right now, you're taking a look there at the outages that OG&E is reporting.
Let's tell you what we've got right now. Most of the outages in South Oklahoma City, 7,000 customers reporting no power down there right now. Power lines all over the place are down. Poles are snapped. In the South Moore area, 2,500 customers without power. In Choctaw, 3,200 for a total of almost 14,000 customers right here in the metro area without power. That paints somewhat of a picture of what has happened with this tornado. It traveled a long way on the ground.
That's right.
Back to Ranger 9 in Eagle Vision. This is video from earlier as Ranger 9 flies down the damage path and look at some of the homes that were in the way.
And again, like we said, so close to the route of May 3rd, 1999. A lot of homes that were rebuilt. We mentioned earlier this week that many homes ended up installing these safe rooms. And boy, on a day like today, came in very handy.
There's an addition as Mason Ranger 9 flew up on this addition a little while ago, and sort of a rural area, but several homes out there. And look at the homes, just several of them leveled out there, and boy, we can only hope those people found shelter. You know, a lot of people down in that part of town put in shelters, and in fact the government reimbursed them for the shelters after May of 1999, and we can only hope that the people who were in these homes had those shelters, because boy, there weren't many places to hide.
Not at all. Well, we do have Ed Jones by phone now. Let's go ahead. Ed, how are you?
We're doing really well. We're trying to get organized at this point.
Okay.
Our Public Works Director is actually out there driving out some of the damaged area right now. Paul Brum, he reported immediately to the field, and we're waiting for his direction. But we've activated our forces, all the people that we could get a hold of. We're having a problem because the cell lines are down, and that's the reason we've sought your help to get a public service message out.
Well, you want your people in? You want all of your people to come in?
We're trying to get all of our full-time city employees to report to 2121 Westwood, and I understand that you guys are are helping us with that now.
Yes, you're on the air right now.
And one thing we want to pass along to people too, I know it's real tempting to use your cell phone right now, but I'll tell you, there are a lot of people trying to use cell phones for emergency situations, so if you can hold off from using your cell phone for the next couple of hours, please do that so the cell phone traffic can be used by emergency personnel out in that area. Now, Ed, when you talk about the people you're sending out, what will you need them to do out there, obviously, other than just clearing debris out of streets?
Kelly, that will be the first thing we will be tackling is trying to get the things out of the street, and so traffic is passable and emergency vehicles can get through. And the other problem or item that we would encourage people to be extremely aware of in case they're down electrical lines, it presents a real inherent danger.
That's right. Ed, you had mentioned that you guys are trying to assess what streets will be closed. Any idea at this point what Oklahoma City streets you know for right now that need to be closed?
The only thing that we know for certain is that I-240 and Sooner Road was hit pretty hard.
Right.
The area around the General Motors plant was
Ed,
impacted.
we're looking at video of that right now as you speak, so go ahead.
Those are the areas that have come back into us, and so we know pretty much just what you've shown us on Channel 9.
All right, Ed. Well, the damage is widespread out there, and several additions, and I imagine some of those homes that we have seen and some of those additions that were hit heavily are in the Del City area, and I'm sure they'll probably be asking for your help as well, right?
Yes, I would imagine that they will be, and we're here to provide all the help that we can.
Ed, there are going to be power lines down all over this area, and people don't know that it is, a lot of times, that it is very dangerous to drive over those. A lot of these power lines are still hot.
Yes, that's the first thing that I would alert anyone to is to be extremely careful of those areas. If they can, they need to stay out of those damaged areas.
Yeah, it's a good idea to just treat those wires as live wires. Don't drive over them. Turn around and play it safe.
Now, Ed, your department too will be going out there with the dump trucks and everything else right now. You sending all of that stuff out, those same vehicles that we saw you use to do the streets during the winter, right?
Before, and so we're pretty much experienced in how to handle it. Right now, our vehicles are fueled. We're just in the process of trying to get the folks back to work because most of them had just left for home about the time it hit.
Ed, what did you learn from the 1999 tornado that you can use today?
Well, those are some of the things I've passed on is for people to stay out of those areas because we always get people wanting to see what the damage is and drive into those areas to see what's going on, and they hamper our operations by doing so.
Yeah, and they're going to get a much better look at it.
And so give us in the emergency vehicles a chance to do what we need to do in there. And the best thing they can do is stay away from those areas.
All right. Ed, are you requesting all that the folks maybe call into the police department to report any type of damage or anything unusual, or would that help you guys at all?
Well, I'm afraid that they'll overload the police department circuits by doing that. The main thing that they could do if they see down lines is report those to OG&E so that they can direct their forces to the right locations.
All right. Ed Jones with the Oklahoma City Streets Department. We sure appreciate you taking the time to visit with us, and good luck to you.
Thank you very much for your help.
All right, Ed. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We've got a big job ahead of them right now. So does IMSA, so do police and firefighters out there, ONG, OG&E. All those people are to be called out on emergency status right now because, once again, Oklahoma City has been hit with a disaster. South Oklahoma City. There's a look at one of the tornadoes from earlier. This is after the storm moved past the General Motors plant, the Del City area, into the Choctaw area.
And you can see that's about the time we lost power from this city cam.
Yeah, as we look at this video, we'll talk to Michael Ann Newton from the Emergency Center. Michael Ann, what's the situation out there?
We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center, and we're beginning to bring personnel in, all in an attempt to assist the local communities that we know have been affected and the others that may be affected as the storm system moves through the state. Simply stand ready here with state resources so we can get those resources out to those cities and towns and rural areas so we can help the people who've been affected by the storms.
Michael Ann, you in the Emergency Operations Center right now?
I am in the state EOC, yes.
Tell me, what kind of traffic are you hearing?
Well, actually, we're hearing a lot of chatter on the radios, of course. a lot of the phone calls we're receiving are in typical Oklahoma order. A lot of people calling and asking what they can do to help.
Right. we want to tell people real quickly, Michael Ann, hold on one sec. This video that you're watching, it says moments ago, but folks, this was actually more like 25, 30 minutes ago out in Choctaw. Gary still has an eye on the storms that are moving out there, and he will join us immediately if the situation is threatening. So we just want everyone to know that, Michael Ann. So go ahead.
I just want to urge people to make sure they're not using their cell phones at this time unless it's an emergency. We like to clear up the airways so that the responders can use those cell phones for emergency situations. And also, if you don't have any business in the affected area, please stay back. So once again, the fire, police, the emergency medical personnel can all do their jobs. They need a little room to do those jobs.
Michael Ann, has there been any discussion? I know the governor is aware of what is happening. What's the situation with that? Has there been any early talk about bringing out any reinforcements from the Guard to protect things or help with debris removal?
Well, actually, all the state resources, to include the Oklahoma National Guard, are available at this point. We simply are waiting to hear from the local officials. Once they've had time to totally observe and investigate their areas and to let us know what they need. We need to let them tell us what their needs are so that we can react in just the right way.
Okay, Michael Ann, we appreciate your help from the Emergency Management Center. We'll be talking to you again later on.
We want to go to Gary Horker now, who is west of Moore. In fact, he's at Southwest 134th and Western. Gary, what are you seeing?
Guys, this is where the tornado just started its destructive path. We followed it in on 134th Street. There are a lot of people walking around because power lines are down. I'm going to show you the first signs of damage that we saw. Right there across the street, high-tension power lines ripped right off the base, and they went right through the roof of that house. We're hoping that there was nobody in there at the time. We understand those power lines are off. Traffic now is being able to move through here, but you can see what it did right over here. If Tony can pan over here. See that Rose Avenue 134 sign right there? Everything kind of like that that's weak and could have been twisted is down. And we understand that there is some substantial damage I'm hearing from pedestrians and passersby within these areas right beyond where I am. Let me give you a good idea of where I am. Just a little bit west of Moore. I'm exactly epicenter between Western and Santa Fe. Santa Fe is just right behind me. I'm going to show you what's up ahead. I don't know if you could see more power lines down. There is no power to this area at all. A lot of people walking around because there are there is quite a bit of debris, and right now, from my vantage point, power lines and traffic is the main concern because there are lots of emergency vehicles. In fact, this has been the story of the day right here. Oklahoma City Police, react crews, fire ambulances trying to get that way, and so is everybody else. This thing collided right with this area simultaneously with rush hour. So we're going to continue monitoring the situation. By the way, I can also tell you guys, we got home video we're going to try and load back to the station, put on within the next few minutes. It was pretty vicious stuff, and it happened just north of here as it went into Del City.
Gary, thank you so much. Let's go to Gary England now.
All right, let's go to XL, and on this storm to our north, let's go to XL. I'll jump up there. Tornado is on the ground with the storm at Red Rock. Highway Patrol reports tornado on the ground at Red Rock, Oklahoma, north central section of the state. Moving to the northeast at 35. We have a live truck up that way. We'll see if we can get some video of that. But so from Marlin to Red Rock, stay alert. Not possible, but tornado on the ground in Red Rock, Oklahoma. And also you folks in Perry, that storm has intensified in your area, so still watch very closely in the Perry region for tornadic activity there. Then back down here, this storm continues tornadic, moving northeast and over the Sparks area, very close to Meeker, and on to the northeast and east-northeast about 30, 35 miles per hour. Those are the only two areas of storms that we have to deal with right now, guys. All
right, Gary, recapping a little bit what has happened this afternoon. About 5 o'clock, strong storms and then tornadoes touched down in Moore and really stayed on the ground for quite some time. South Oklahoma City into Moore, over toward the General Motors plant. Video from Gary Horker, home video. Gary England, take a look at this back in the Weather Center. This is a live feed coming into the station right now, Gary.
Okay, I'm watching it here. This is from Moore.
This would be South Oklahoma City, I believe, Gary.
There's a large funnel. At times it became rain wrap, very difficult to see. The storm started back near Pocasset and it moved northeastward, about 30 miles per hour, then east-northeastward. But, for the average person, you might look at that and it doesn't look much like a tornado, but it's a rain-wrapped tornado. Obviously doing damage all the way to F4, maybe even stronger in some areas. We've seen some damage where there's nothing left but the foundation, the pad. So very significant damage, and this one had a lot of moisture with it, makes them very difficult to see. And if you were watching this, we took a series of real strong power surges, power hits here at the station, as we did throughout most of Oklahoma City, and that was the tornadoes going through the power lines that feed the power into Oklahoma City. So this is a little bit more difficult to spot and a little bit more difficult to recognize than the previous tornadoes we've had, because this thing was so rain-wrapped at times. You can see he was on this, he was videoing it, and then probably wasn't even aware that he really zeroed in on it. But moving east, northeast across the Moore area in the South Oklahoma City along I-240. And once again, it's, as far as the storm's going right now, it's over and around the Sparks area to Stroud. Also a tornado warning north of Perry, tornado on the ground up there. But this has been the major supercell, and it developed in the most prime location with the best inflow, and it just went ahead and developed. And it's continuing near Sparks, Oklahoma, on its way to the Tulsa region. We'll have to see what happens as it moves over that way. And as you're looking at that, also check up north. Tornado reported on the ground moments ago in Red Rock, and also the storm is over Perry, so you guys have to watch that. And back this way, the storm continues moving northeastward. And so you folks, Sparks over to Stroud, and let's call it Sparks, Davenport, Arlington, and Stroud. You should go ahead and take your tornado precautions, I imagine most folks have. So guys, you're looking at some big time damage there, and I'll go back to you.
Yeah, Gary, this is home video being sent to us from Gary Horker's location. Gary reported to us from around Southwest 134th between Western and Santa Fe, and I can only presume the video is from that area into the Moore area, and you can see extensive damage in that area as well. This is home video shot by one of our viewers just a little while ago. Now, live from I-40 and Post Road.
We have Ken Kilborn here, our photographer, shooting. Boy.
Ken, can you hear us out there? Kind of give us a panoramic, if you can, of what all we see. We see the road shut down. There's that Highway Patrol, and there's Oklahoma City PD Air 1 coming in out there. This is the area that is going to be out a little bit east of Tinker Air Force Base. After this tornado hit the General Motors plant, kind of grazed the south edge of the Tinker property. And according to Ranger 9 pilot Mason Dunn, did not do any real damage out there. But you can see out around Post Road, there's a lot of damage out there. And damage reports from Choctaw as well from earlier, and we could see that from our city cam out there. But Gary mentioned this high probability earlier on in the afternoon. He said a high probability of long track tornadoes, and this is, boy, we saw that in '99, and we see it again in a very similar area, maybe a half-mile away.
Same scene.
Ken Kilborn is out there. Let's see, Ken, can you hear us and can you talk to us?
Actually, Kelly, this is Ben McClintock right now.
Ben.
We're actually out here with Ken right now. We're actually, as you said earlier, we are on post just about half a mile south of I-40, and as you can see, the damage out here is quite extensive. Emergency crews are out here. There are down power lines all over the place out here. There are some over in a nearby field. I see some homeowners that are actually herding some horses away from some of the down power lines right now. But as you can see, we have just complete total devastation out here, and it's amazing because right over here to the left here, Ken, if you could just pan a little bit to the left here, you can see a house that has been completely destroyed by obviously a tornado and very strong winds, and we have several just completely trees that are uprooted. If we could pan a little bit more to our left, you can also see some other trees that are completely uprooted. But then it's amazing how focused the damage can actually be from these tornadoes, because if we can just pan a little bit more to our left, there is a house that, from this vantage point at least, seems to be, for the most part, completely undamaged, even though it is surrounded by trees that are completely torn from the ground. So it's amazing. There's a lot of people that are just confused. If we could pan to the right again, you can see we have helicopters over here that are surveying the damage. There are people that are going through this wreckage here looking for their belongings, personal effects, and that sort of a thing. We do not know at this point if there are any people that are injured in any of this wreckage. We have not seen any medical EMS crews out here yet, but that may be because traffic is tied up in a lot of areas right now. Post Road, just about a half mile down from where we are right now, is completely blocked by some power lines and debris from some of the houses. And at this point, they are just people are just looking through the remains of what were once their lives.
Ben,
Kelly?
Ben, repeat for me again because I had someone talking in my ear. Are you south or north of I-40 out there on post?
We are south of I-40 right now.
Okay. Okay, so you're south of I-40, which would put you east of Tinker Air Force Base, right? A mile or two?
I believe so. I believe that's how far we are. We believe that this is the path that the tornado took once it left the vicinity of Tinker Air Force Base, and as you can see, the damage is quite extensive out here.
Okay, so Post Road is shut down out there. Amy, let's update the viewers at home. Chris West is putting in from the OHP is asking us to pass along some information
about what roadways are closed. The highways initially, I-40, especially all around the Tinker area. I-35, we're told, is shut down. Mason Dunn reported earlier, about 15 minutes ago, that I-240 was moving, but slowly. But we recommend that's the area just to stay away from altogether. There will be many city streets closed as well, but the city crews are working on that at this point to assess which streets are closed and to get the word out.
Okay, take a look at this. This is Storm Tracker Extraordinaire Val Castor on this storm from the get-go, and Val tracked this thing all the way into the metro area and across the metro. Kind of get a feel for what happened. I try to catch a street sign if we can along the way there. Fast forwarding some of this to get into some better video. We'll get that queued up to the best spot.
We also have Mark Opgren over at I-40 in Douglas. I don't know if we're able to go to him at this time. Not yet. Okay, we'll get to him in just a moment, but still this video from I-40 and Post. This is a live picture you're seeing as people begin to go through the debris there. We saw the roadways closed, people walking around, and again, it's a lot like May 3rd, 1999.
Really Highway Patrol has asked you to please don't drive into those areas. Even if you're concerned about someone, they're shutting these areas down. You won't be able to get through. We remember that from 1999, that they shut those areas down. They would not let people go in. Even if you were concerned about a loved one, they did not want people wandering around through those areas, through power lines. Now you can see some of the debris kicking up. Hey, let's go to Gary. Gary, you watching this video from Val in there? Okay.
Okay. Well, we do know that, all right, let's go ahead.
Gary, this is a video from Val Castor in.
Right, this is when the tornado was still in the Choctaw Hera area just moments ago, and I don't know if Val on with us on getting her on if it's possible because there's many problems with the cell phones, but that was Val's shot of the tornado, and let me tell you, in the Choctaw area it was very significant. It was moving moments ago or a little while ago directly toward the camera we were shooting with. And Val, if you're listening to us or watching us on television, you don't need to fast forward. But once again, Val tracked this storm all the way across and saw a great deal of damage, as did some other folks. Let's go to XL, do a quick update on this storm. Moving northeast, significant storm, still tornadic there. Quick check in northern Oklahoma. Tornado warning continues east of Red Rock, northeast of Perry. And guys, obviously it's significant. Some of the damage we've looked at has been you know, it's been very strong. Some of them we've seen just nothing left but the foundation of the pad, which indicates the strongest of storms, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But so I'll throw it back to you guys right now.
All right, Gary. You know, we've been in contact with the Red Cross as well, and they anticipate that they'll need water and some other supplies, but at this point they don't know exactly what, and they don't have any type of drop-off site at this point, but we will let you know as soon as we hear anything from them.
Yeah, we certainly will, and folks, we will be wall-to-wall with this coverage, meaning nonstop. This video, not sure who this is from, maybe the control room can let us know. This is from obviously earlier, around 5 o'clock this afternoon, as this storm moved in. Oh, this is more Val's video here, Gare, from south side.
Yeah, this is, he moved to the Moore area. The tornado was probably up over I-240 at that particular time. And Val, talk to me. We're looking at your video.
Okay, Gary, this is, we were in Moore right now. This is the first place it touched down, and I think this is where it did the damage at the City of Moore Shopping Center. You know, the large fires that we saw there. It was just a large cone-shaped funnel, came to a point at the bottom. Shortly after this, it became rain raft, and we lost it. But this was, we were on 149th Street, east of May, when it first touched down, and you can see it to our northeast. This is in the Moore area. I think you can see some debris under it right there.
Okay, we see it, Val. I'll tell you what we'll do. Val, if you'll, we're going to go back to Kelly and Amy, but if you'll re-rack and we take a look at some of your damage video, if you can feed that to us. So back to you guys at the desk. All
right, Gary, thank you. We do have Mark Opgren by phone now. Again, he's over at I-40 in Douglas. Mark, what are you seeing where you are?
Well, we're right here on the highway, Amy, just east of Douglas, right here on I-40. This is right where it came right across from the south to the north here. There's semi turned over right in front of us here. The driver was okay. He has a story he was telling me how he ran to the woods here just to hang on to the trees off to the side of the road because the wind was blowing up so fiercely at him. Now, and just on the south of that, there's a number of homes that have been damaged down there. We walked back there and talked to some of the people. They tell us one house, the whole second story was ripped off. The whole area, though, it seems like a lot of people say that they have not had any reports of injuries right over there as of yet that we were told. And then if you look down to the north there, you could just see the tops of the trees are broken off. You can see parts of the houses, parts of roofs, it looks like. As far as the traffic, though, is moving, it seems to be moving fine here. Just talked to the Highway Patrol a little bit ago. They came by through here. They cleared this area out, but there's still at least 4 or 5 cars just sitting around the road here that apparently got knocked over when this thing came right over the top of them, Amy.
All right, Mark. So the road is closed along I-40 now, or you say you're seeing a few cars?
Traffic is moving both north or east and west right here, so it's smooth. The Highway Patrol came through and they cleared it out, and they cleared off the wrecks, and they let people keep driving.
All right, Mark Offman near I-40 and Douglas.
A couple of miles to the east of him, News 9's Ben McClintock standing by with a witness out there who can tell us what they saw. Ben?
Well, Kelly, that's right. We actually just ran into a gentleman here who actually is joining us now. Sir, if you could just tell me your name, please.
Lance Bohannon.
Now, what exactly did you see and where were you located when you saw the tornado?
I was outside my grandma's house and I looked west and I saw this tornado. It was coming straight for us, about a mile and a half, about half a mile. I picked my grandma up and went to the next door cellar and I put her in there, and I went to get my other grandma, and so that's all I saw.
Okay, did you hear the sounds of it at all?
Yes, I did. It's like a freight train coming through.
And was there a lot of debris that it was kicking up into the air as well?
Yes, there's a lot. There's a lot of trees and a lot of debris.
Now, about how close were you actually able to get to the tornado when it was coming through the area?
About a mile and a half. So, no, actually, it's about maybe a mile. When I saw it, when I went to cellar, got about half a mile, and just when I heard it go by.
Okay, now I understand that you live right in this neighborhood, don't you?
Yes, I just live a quarter mile down the road, down on 44th Street, so I'm just trying to get to my house, see if it's all right.
Okay, can you see it at this point at all, see if it's all right?
No, it's on the other side of all those trees, so I can't, it's in a little neighborhood, so I can't really see it.
Have any of the emergency response crews or any of the policemen been able to tell you about what's going on in this area?
No, not really. I just pulled up here, so I really don't know.
Okay. All right, well, sir, what was your name again?
Lance.
Lance, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Well, as you can see, we have a lot of extensive damage out here in this area, a lot of families that are still looking through all of the debris out here, trying to find family members, loved ones. As we just saw with Lance, he was able to be with his grandmother and get her into a storm shelter, so that's certainly good news for them. But of course, there's still the news that they're waiting on whether or not their house is still in one piece, as are a lot of people out here as well. Kelly?
All right, Ben McClintock, just east of Tinker Air Force Base for us. I believe that's the Western Electric building out around I-240 and Sooner Road. Is this Ranger 9 back up live with us now? Oh, this is video from just a little while ago. A heavy damage out around I-240, the General Motors plant. The tornado, May 3rd, 1999, went along the south side of Tinker, missed it to the north. This one misses it to the south, but boy, look at Lincoln National Bank there at I-240 and Sooner. Totally collapsed under the weight of this storm.
Yeah, and that's earlier where we saw Metaflight land and presumably take some of the injured off to the hospital.
We don't have any update yet on injuries. IMSA is setting up a command post. Injuries at the General Motors plant, I can assure you, as we look at live video there on the right, tape on the left, that there are going to be a lot of people hurt in this storm. A lot of warning, but still, it was another one of those ground scrapers, as Gary calls it. Live shot. Mason, that's I-240.
Yeah, Kelly, we're in the same area. This is I-40. Just east-northeast of I-40 in a residential area here that's been totally demolished.
Okay, so are you what, northeast of Tinker, a couple of miles?
Yes, we are east-northeast of Tinker, and I can see the Midwest City Fire Department running around here looking for people that may need assistance.
Boy, I tell you, Mason, these homes are spread. These are half acreages and acreages out there. And these homes are spread apart, but they're damaged on both sides of the street. This looks like it was a wide tornado at times.
It looks like it picked up intensity right through here, Kelly, as of course it hopped over Tinker, and like I said, it may have used a lot of energy tearing up the GM plant, but it looks like it picked it back up here just east of Tinker and I-40.
Mason, on the line you're looking at from this house back toward the General Motors plant, does that cut right across Tinker Air Force Base?
I'm flying to the southwest right now, and I can see the GM plant. So it moved northeast from the GM plant right across Tinker, and then it jumped right in this neighborhood here.
Well, it's amazing. You're right about maybe some of the energy from the General Motors plant, because, boy, there's a lot to hit out at Tinker, and we haven't had reports of any real damage out there.
No, I've flown over Tinker several times, and the only damage I can see was the debris that I reported that was on the runway there. Let the controllers know that not to be landing any planes out there.
Yeah.
Because there was debris on the runway, and they were pretty fortunate to hear that.
Out around Post Road still, in that Post Road, just a little bit south of or north of I-40, what we're looking at here?
I am around 59th, just west of Hiawassee Road, probably about a half a mile. This is I'm going to fly on up the storm path here. We're kind of headed east-northeast now, and as you can see, that house right there looked like it might have been a two-story house at one time, but it is totally destroyed.
Mason, we had a really incredible shot from our city cam out in Choctaw, showing a tornado on the ground, really tearing up a lot of trees. We couldn't tell what else it hit, so we're really concerned about what we might see out in the Choctaw area.
Yeah, Kelly, we're trying to move our way there, trying to show what we can on TV. The fire department has requested us to kind of show, what the damage is, so they'll have a kind of an idea of where to go and where to help the people.
Right.
Because definitely a lot of people is going to need some help.
Right.
Tornado really hit the metro area right around roughly 5 o'clock this afternoon. Tracked from where Gary Horker said, out around southwest 134th, Western and Santa Fe, across South Oklahoma City, through Moore, into Del City, hit the General Motors plant, kind of skipped over Tinker, and then hit more homes on the east side of Midwest City and into the Choctaw area, it appears.
Everything from power lines down, power poles down, homes leveled, different structures leveled. Even saw a few small fires. Mason, are you seeing any billowing smoke coming from any areas as you're up in the air?
The only smoke that I have seen, of course, when we were tracking the tornado through Moore, I did see huge power flashes, and because it's so hazy out here today, we really couldn't see the tornado, but we could really see the power flashes, and soon after that seen some smoke. But the smoke that we showed you earlier is still going on. That fire over there by the GM plant, that those trucks are on fire, is just getting bigger and bigger, and all these fire crews out here are kind of busy, so they've just kind of left that alone for now.
See a fire truck there. We know earlier that before this tornado even made its way through the Moore, South Oklahoma City area, that Norman was told to be on standby, their police and fire crews. The Moore Fire Department was on standby, and now we see them in action.
Well, what I can tell you, Amy and Kelly, is that the difference I see between this and May 3rd is that after May 3rd, even though they had a little bit of warning, there were people all over the place. A lot of people hurt. I don't really see the urgency down here like we've seen on May 3rd, and hopefully we don't have as many people hurt as we did on May 3rd on this one.
Well, while we have seen neighborhoods that were hammered by this storm today, I don't know that we've seen the number of homes hit that we did May 3rd of 1999. Now, we haven't seen the full picture yet. Certainly the damage is widespread, and it's incredible once again. But
yeah, guys, we're going to have to bug out of here. We've been requested by the fire department. I'm going to go pick up the fire chief over here at Air Depot on I-40.
All right, Mason, we'll talk to you again in just a little bit. We want to show the viewers at home something that is very interesting. This is that is the May 3rd, 1999 tornado track in red, and today's estimated tornado track in green. And you can see the difference, but boy, they sure started close and even crisscrossed, gosh, right out around the General Motors area right out there.
We want to let you know that we spoke with Ed Jones with the Oklahoma City Streets Department a little bit ago, and again, he is requesting that all Oklahoma City full-time street employees to report. And in fact, the location he gave earlier was 2121 Westwood. Again, they're needing all the folks that they can to help assist with the situation, and so again, they're asking all Oklahoma City full-time street employees to report to 2121 Westwood.
All right, Gary, if we can get Gary powered back up. Gary, you talk about that tornado track, and it might need to be refined a little bit, right?
Yeah, the track is a little bit off, but I tell you, as you look at Ranger 9, if Ranger 9's still up, we'll talk to Rob Satkus, one of our storm trackers that was right with the storm. So Rob, tell us your story.
Well, Gary, we were on Sooner Road looking north towards, I guess it'd be the Del City area, and we could see the large rotating wall clouds, but because of haze and rain, we couldn't actually see the tornado. But as we closed in on 240, we began to come into damage. At first, I thought it was damage, fences down, things like that. But when we got to I-240 there, it was substantial damage, just buildings leveled, power poles down, and we could look off and see the GM plant was hit hard. I'm assuming Tinker was hit pretty hard, too, the path it took. But we got on 240 again, and there was debris falling from the sky, and we were actually able to see the tornadoes that was coming near Choctaw. Unfortunately, the cell lines were down, and we couldn't get back to you, but it looked like it came pretty close to Choctaw, and we've been with the storm since then. Haven't seen any more tornadoes, but we still got a rotating wall cloud here near Stroud.
Okay, we're watching that storm a little south of Stroud. It's getting ready to move over towards Bristow and towards Slick, Oklahoma. Moving out of Lincoln County onto the east. We have one other storm, and I'll just tell you about it. It's in northern Oklahoma, and it's moving. Actually, the tornado was reported on the ground a little earlier near Red Rock. That large tornado also near Sooner Lake, but northern Oklahoma. So really, this is moving out of our area, moving in over toward Burbank, and the other is moving out of Lincoln County. And tornado warning continues for southeastern Lincoln County, about 5 miles south of Stroud, moving east at about 35 miles per hour. So this is to continue that tornado warning east-northeast at 35 miles per hour, just a little to the south, of Stroud. And so continue the tornado warning in there. And back to you guys at the desk.
All right, Gary, we're starting to get some of the numbers we didn't want to get in, but we suspected were coming. Some injury numbers, Amy.
That's right. From Southwest Medical Center, they're reporting 21 injuries related to today's tornado, and then Mercy Hospital reporting 1 injury.
No fatalities reported yet at any of the hospitals. We're checking with all those in the Norman area, OU Medical Center, all those on the south side, Midwest City Regional, places where injury victims might be taken. That video on the left is from our Choctaw cam. About 5:30 this evening is, I would guess, roughly. And this is a live video of a flyby from Ranger 9 and Eagle Vision on the east side of the metro. Incredible damage over there once again.
Of course, we have our storm trackers out in the field, several reporters with photographers teamed up. I wonder if we could check in with any of them at this point.
And pass along something else to someone. As always happens with an emergency situation like this, people are calling us, offering us their services, wanting to help out in some way, and we will always take that information. We'll set up some sort of clearinghouse where you can get hold of those people and get help. So if you have equipment or something that you would like to help out with, we can take that information, and then we'll get the people who need it in touch with you.
We want to go ahead and go to Chief Photographer Rich Kriegel. He's around the Moore area.
Well, what we're asking right now is that people directly around Station 2 and Moore, Fire Station number 2 in Moore, to come to the Moore Station. Anybody outside this area, we ask them to go to Westmore High School at 104th and Southwestern in Oklahoma City. We're setting up a triage area there. Families can come there and try to help locate their other family members. If we can get people that area, I think we'll get a better coordination going.
Do you have any idea how many people have been hurt so far?
At this time, it's just too early to tell right now, and we'll try to get those numbers out as soon as possible.
What are you advising the public to do in this area if they're not hurt or they don't have relatives in this area?
If we ask the public's cooperation to keep them out of the area for now. As soon as we get the perimeter set up, and we hope to do that before sundown, we'll get more information out.
And then you'll put a message out, things you need for these people?
As soon as we can, we'll get the information out.
So to repeat again, you need anybody hurt to go where?
Anybody hurt right now, if they're in the immediate area of Station 22 and more, to go to Station 22. We have a couple of ambulances and medical personnel standing by. Anybody outside that area needs to go to Westmore High School at 104th and Southwestern.
Do you have any message for your officers, reserve officers? Do you need more help?
Well, at this time we've got people coming in, we got backup shifts coming in, we're activating our ERT team, and things are moving relatively smoothly. All right, thank you guys.
All right, Rich Kriegel. Rich, can you still hear us down there? Maybe we can get an earpiece for Rich so we can talk to him. Rich Kriegel's our chief photographer, and he has been through a lot of storms, including May 3rd, 1999, and he could probably give us a real unique perspective. But it was, you talk about deja vu, when Mike Klicka mentioned setting up triage at Westmore. Westmore was damaged, Westmore High School was damaged by the 99 tornado.
And again, they're asking anyone who is hurt to check in that area, or if you just are wanting to check in to see if, check on a loved one if you're unsure of their whereabouts. Again, go to Westmore. It's 104th and Southwestern.
Let's see if we can get Gary powered back up. Gary, I understand we've done some work on our storm track, and we'll take a look at it right there. In red is the May 3rd tornado.
Right. And there's the green that started in the Moore area and went up toward Del City and Midwest City and Tinker, and of course the General Motors plant, then over to Choctaw, and the track probably goes on to the east. So it's a long track tornado. It took a little bit longer for the twister to develop today, or the major on May 3rd of '99. It developed very quickly, but the storm now has moved a little east to Stroud, moving into Tulsa's area of responsibility over there. And we're looking at a lot of damage, and so I'll go back to you guys now.
It's remarkable how close those paths are, especially early on there. Sub-A, where is this video coming from right now? Rich Kriegel at 12th Street down in 12th and Lawton down in Moore. Look at that.
Goodness.
Boy, oh boy. And this is down around the area where we're getting early reports around 12th Street and I-35 of the big fire there at the City of Moore Shopping Center. But several homes in there taking the brunt of this storm as well.
Again, the folks in this area are close to Station 22, and so if you happen to be watching us by television and you know some folks in this area, that's where they're supposed to check into, is the Station 22.
And if you're joining us now and catching up on what has happened, this damage is all once again down along the south side, basically where it was on May 3rd, 1999 for the most part. Right around South Oklahoma City, Southwest 149th, and the western area, 134th in there, tracked across Moore over toward the General Motors plant, hit the General Motors plant hard with injuries reported out there, a lot of damage to the General Motors plant. It will take a long time to fix that facility. But instead of turning left in that vicinity out there, as you see the 99 tornado did there in red, it went straight. Mason Dunn, our pilot reporter on Ranger 9, said remarkably hardly any damage out of Tinker Air Force Base, which this storm went right across. But then more homes damaged on the east side along Douglas, across I-40 to the north, along Post Road, up into the Choctaw area.
That's right, and then just went on east.
12th Street and Moore. Can Rich Kriegel hear us yet down there? Okay, well, he can hear us, but he can't talk to us, so we're going to try to get him hooked up again and get his perspective. But okay, we have Gary Horker still down around 134th Street. Gary?
Hey guys, you can see where this tornado tracked in. There's all kinds of outbuildings, Quonset huts. I'm on Southwest 134th Street, just between Santa Fe and Western. I'm just west of Moore, where Rich Kriegel is, and I'm going to show you. This is the story of the day right here. Debris is everywhere. Lord knows where this came from. But then across the street, there are ambulances, there are emergency vehicles, and people on foot. Look at this lady trying to get into this neighborhood right here. Everybody's trying to get east into Moore. It has happened during rush hour. Emergency vehicles are having a hard time getting through. Right now what you're looking at is a high-tension power line that was shaved off of its off the root, and it plowed right into that house, and it went down like a domino effect. Pan a little bit to the right, Tony, and you can show them. Went through the fences, and this, as I understand it from eyewitness accounts, is where the tornado, or at least one of the funnels, if you will, went down, skipped up around this area, took down power lines first, and then did some heavy damage just beyond the rooftops of what you're seeing. Right now, eyewitnesses, like I said, are struggling to get into Moore. Folks, if you don't live there, your own business there, you really shouldn't be headed that way. Firefighters and emergency personnel are really trying to get into these neighborhoods to try and figure out who's hurt, who needs help, who's stranded, and that kind of thing. So right now I could tell you there's a lot of damage just over my shoulder that way, and there's just no telling. We have not been able to make our way just because of traffic so far.
All right, Gary Horker there on the right around Southwest 134th Street. This is Rich Kriegel's shot on the that you see now. This is from down around 12th Street and more as the tornado progressed about, I'd say maybe a half a mile into its track across that part of town. A lot of damage down there, a lot of restaurants. That restaurant we saw a moment ago on the split screen appeared to be a McDonald's.
And it appeared that all the windows were gone.
Yeah.
This is specifically 12th and Lawton. Again, we've seen the fire trucks there, EMSA.
There we go. There we go. Rich has given us the shot there again. The McDonald's down there, and I believe that McDonald's is right near the City of Moore Shopping Center, where a big fire broke out earlier from this tornado, and this is fairly early on in the storm's track. Hey, a quick update. Norman Hospital has gone to code orange. They now have, let's see, 15 injuries down there. One person critical. They are telling all the nurses to come in. No nurses will leave. They are going full staff right now. They'll take anyone who is hurt from the tornado, so we are getting a lot of injuries now.
We'll update Southwest Medical Center, 21 injuries. Mercy Hospital reporting 1 injury. No fatalities have been reported at this point.